Just for the people that don't know, I do live stream 4 times a week over on Twitch, so come and hang out, come and be a part of one of the best communities there is. Just click the link in the description, hit the follow button and turn on notifications so that you're notified as soon as I next go live, and I hope to see you in one of the streams. But for now, enjoy the video. Oi girls and boys and everything in between, it's Ace Trainer Liam back with another episode of Form Fight. Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form, we have a look at the differences between those forms and we try and work out which one is the best. And we also have a Metronome battle between the different forms of the Pokemon just to see them on the battlefield, see what they look like in action. If you're a fan of Form Fight and you're ready for more, hit the like button and of course hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss an episode of this series. But with everything out of the way, let's have a look at today's challenges. In today's Form Fight we're going to be comparing the 4 forms of Oricorio: Baile, Pom-Pom, Pau, and Sensu. Currently, Oricorio can only be caught in Alola, but it can be found in any one of these 4 forms depending on which Alolan island you're on. Baile is found on Ula Ula Island, Pom-Pom on Mele Mele Island, Pau on Akala Island, and Sensu on Pony Island. It's also possible to change your Oricorio to whichever form you desire by feeding it one of the 4 types of nectar found around Alola. This allows you to change your Oricorio to Baile, Pom-Pom, Pau, or Sensu by feeding it red, yellow, pink, or purple nectar respectively. So let's have a look at the differences between these 4 dancing Pokemon forms. All 4 of these Pokemon share the same height and weight, standing at 0.6 meters tall and weighing 3.4 kilograms each. For Oricorio Baile, the Pokédex tells us that it beats its wings together to create fire. As it moves in the steps of its beautiful dance, it bathes opponents in intense flames. This Oricorio has sipped red nectar. Its passionate dance moves cause its enemies to combust in both body and mind. For Pom-Pom, it says this Oricorio has sipped bright yellow nectar. Its bright, cheerful dance melts the hearts of its enemies. It creates an electric charge by rubbing its feathers together. It dances over to enemies and delivers shocking electrical punches. For Pau, we're told Oricorio relaxes by swaying gently. This increases its psychic energy, which it then fires at its enemies. This Oricorio has sipped pink nectar. Its enemies' hearts melt at the sight of its gently swaying hips. And finally, Sensu's Pokédex data reads this Oricorio has sipped purple nectar. Its elegant, attractive dance will send the minds and hearts of its enemies to another world. It summons the dead with its dreamy dancing. From their malice, it draws power with which to curse its enemies. Appearance-wise, each of these Pokemon has the same basic bird shape, however each one's appearance takes inspiration from the type of dance they're based on, with a colour that reflects its primary type. Baile is made to look more like a flamenco dancer, Pom-Pom a cheerleader, Pau of course has a hula skirt, and Sensu's wings resemble folding fans used in Japanese dance. In their shiny forms, each of these Pokemon simply switch their basic colours around. Baile switches its red and black, Pom-Pom's yellow and white swap over, and the same goes for the colour schemes of the other 2 as well. Now let's have a look at their typing, weaknesses, and resistance. It's also worth noting here that the primary type of each of these Pokemon determines the type of Oricorio's signature move, Revelation Dance. First up is Baile form, which is a dual type fire and flying type, giving it a fire type Revelation Dance and making it weak to rock, water, and electric, with the rock weakness being a 4 times weakness. This Pokemon resists fighting, bug, steel, fire, grass, and fairy, with immunity to ground type moves, of course, because it's a flying type. Next up is Pom-Pom, which is an electric and flying type Pokemon, making Revelation Dance an electric type move. Pom-Pom is weak to just rock and ice, giving it the least weaknesses of all Oricorio forms. It resists fighting, flying, bug, steel, and grass, and again is immune to ground. Pau form is a dual type psychic and flying Pokemon, so Revelation Dance becomes a psychic move. This Pokemon's weak to rock, ghost, electric, ice, and dark type attacks, resists fighting, grass, and psychic attacks, and of course is immune to ground type moves. Finally, Sensu form is a ghost and flying Pokemon, so Revelation Dance surprisingly becomes a ghost type move. Sensu form actually has the same weaknesses as Pau form: rock, ghost, electric, ice, and dark type attacks. But this form resists poison, bug, and grass type moves and is immune to normal, fighting, and ground type moves. Now let's take a look at the stats and abilities of these Oricorio forms. Of course, this section's going to be pretty quick since all 4 of these Pokemon share the same base stats, being somewhat fragile Pokemon with decent special attack and speed. However, they're not exactly the kind of Pokemon you'll see very often in battles, since they can't really take many hits and are each outclassed by other Pokemon of the same types. As for their abilities, they all have the same one, which is Dancer. This ability makes Oricorio copy any dance move used by another Pokemon on the field and use it itself. itself. This can be anything from Quiver Dance to Dragon Dance, and even Revelation Dance used by another Oricorio. Honestly, it's one of my favourite abilities. Now it's time for me to decide which of these Oricorio forms is my favourite, and it's no contest. It's Pom-Pom form. It's absolutely adorable. Not only that, but I love the type combo of Electric and Flying, which in the past we've only seen on 3 Pokemon, which is Zapdos, Emolga, and Rotom Fan. It's just the fact that this Oricorio has such a great type combination that gives it the least weaknesses out of all the Oricorio forms, and the fact that it's one of the cutest things I think I've ever seen that just makes me love this Pokemon so much, and I loved it since I first played Pokemon Sun and Moon. But of course, it's not just up to me, it's up to you guys to decide which is the best, but first, let's chill out and have ourselves a little Metronome battle. Before we start the battle, I do need to point out these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats, they're not holding any items, and they all have neutral natures, which is something that I always forget to mention. They don't have any nature that would affect any of their stats. Of course, their base stats and abilities are all the same, so the only advantage or disadvantage is going to come from the Pokemon's typing. And because of the way this 4-way battle is going to work, I've used a random number generator to determine which Pokemon goes on which part of the field. The rest is all up to the Metronome. Let's go. Here we go, Battle of the Dancing Birds, as we see all the Oricorios enter the field. Not the usual kind of dancing birds I'm used to seeing on a weekday afternoon, but hey, what can you do? Everyone's position's been chosen by random number generator to try and keep things as fair as possible because of the way the double battle works. We see Fling from Sensu fail because Sensu is not holding any items. Silly Billy. Here we see Pow form with Pursuit on Sensu. That's amazing. Super effective hit. Decent damage. Great start from Pow form Oricorio there. As we see Baile the next to move, the Flamenco form going for Smog onto the Pom-Pom. Pom-Pom, are you going to be poisoned? No poison for Pom-Pom. How is Pom-Pom going to respond to this? We see Needle Arm, which is going to be not very effective on anyone. Very much not very effective on Oricorio Baile, of course, who is fire and flying, both types of which resist the grass type Needle Arm. Pom-Pom, are you going to redeem yourself with Blizzard? I think so. Oh my word, one of them's avoided it. Who avoided it? Baile avoids it. Pau takes the hit, loses almost, well, more than half of its overall HP. That's insane. As Sensu goes for Recover, restoring the HP it took from that pursuit earlier in the battle. So suddenly the tides have shifted for Pow form. I did not expect that to happen, but hey, that's the beauty of the Metronome. Fusion Flare from Oricorio Baile, going to be souped up by that same type attack bonus. Massive damage, half damage to Oricorio Sensu. My word. Parting Shot from Pow form. Who's going to get hit? It's going to be Pom-Pom form, losing its attack and special attack each by 1 stage. Pow form, of course, isn't going to switch out with Parting Shot because there's no one to switch out to. Pom-Pom, how are you going to respond to the Parting Shot? Chip away. Not the kind of attack you need to be using in this kind of Metronome battle. Oricorio Baile barely felt it. How's Pow going to perform now? Fell Stinger. Now that's not going to be very effective. And no one's close to death, so Oricorio Sensu is just going to eat that right up. Especially with it being a ghost type as well. And here we see Pin Missile, another bug type move from Oricorio Baile. Going to do a tiny bit of damage each time to, only 2 times to Pom-Pom form. So Pom-Pom form's looking pretty good right now. What about Sensu? What's Sensu going to do? Going to go for a Leer, lowering the defense of Baile form. Okay, so of both Pokemon, of course, Leer in a double battle will hit both Pokemon. Let's remember that, young Liam. Here we go with Sensu again, starting off the turn. My word, Iron Head. It's going to be neutral damage on Oricorio Pau. Oh my word, Pau is looking to be in a tough spot right now. As we see Pom-Pom go for Soft Boiled, going to restore 50% of its HP. And it's barely even been touched this battle, so Oricorio Pom-Pom is in a great position as well. Oh my goodness, this could really go either of 3 ways at the moment. Nature's Madness from Baile form on Oricorio Pom-Pom, going to drop it by 50% of its HP, my word. So effectively, that soft-boiled made Nature's Madness technically more powerful, but here we go with a power split from Baile onto Pom-Pom. Sorry, from Pow onto Pom-Pom. It's so confusing with all 4 of these forms. There's just so many, and they're all words that I just don't know. We see Foresight from Pom-Pom onto Pau. I'm not used to saying Pau or Baile normally. Pom-Pom and Sensu are a little bit easier to say. As Sensu comes out with Quick Attack, again, chip damage on Baile. Baile's sitting pretty right now. Not really a lot for Baile to worry about. As we see Pau with Venus Shock. How's it going to do on Oricorio Pom-Pom? A fair fair bit of damage, nothing to complain about. Pau's still on the offensive. Pau's still in a good position. Electric Terrain comes out. The only Pokemon that benefits from this right now is Oricorio Pom-Pom, because those electric type moves, if it gets to use them, will be powered up. I'm really hoping someone uses a move that's affected by Dancer, because that would be incredible. Pau goes for Defense Curl, gonna raise the defense back up after that Leer chopped it down. So there's now only Baile form that is suffering with a lowered defense at the moment. What's Sensu going to do to retaliate? Triple kick. Okay, onto Baile form. It's not very effective because it's a fighting type move, but it's 3 little bits of chip damage. So Baile isn't looking as pretty as it did at the start of the battle, but it's still in the driver's seat, I would say. What's Baile going to come out with? Superpower, not going to be very effective on anyone, and going to lower the defense a further stage, and the attack a stage by Baile. So Baile, you have put yourself in a very strange position at the moment. I don't think you wanted to do it. Here we see Razor Wind coming out from Pom-Pom. Now, Pom-Pom has to be careful because it's not going to use Metronome next turn. It's going to go straight in for Razor Wind, but it gets to move first. So that's very lucky. Takes out Power form and brings Baile form down to less than half its HP. How is Baile responding to this? Because it's now outnumbered being on that side of the field. Goes for a peck. It will be super effective, and it will take out Pom-Pom. This is now one-on-one. Sensu versus Baile. That was a very impressive move. Even though it was only peck, it certainly turned the tide in favour of Baile. Uproar from Sensu. Going to do a hell of a lot of damage, and of course you're now locked into Uproar. Oh my god, how is Baile going to respond? Baile is in a very difficult position here. What's it going to do? What can it do? Ancient Power! That's going to be super effective! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my god! 3 HP! And of course Sensu's going to use Uproar and win the battle against Oricorio Baile by a hair's breadth. Sensu, with 3 HP, pulls it out of the bag. That was an incredible form fight. Oh my word. So you've already heard my opinion, you've seen these Pokemon in battle. Now it's time for you guys to let me know which of these Oricorio forms is your favourite. Is it Baile, Pom-Pom, Pau, or Sensu? Leave a comment down below and make sure you explain to everybody why your pick is the best of the dancing birds. Make sure you follow me on Twitter so you don't miss out on me making a fool of myself on a daily basis. And if you'd like to support the channel, see your name in the credits of these videos, and also see these videos before anyone else, consider becoming a Patreon. It literally just costs $1 a month. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss another video. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.